lads. How you guys doing here today? Let me just move this shit here. Alright, here we go. So, lads, how you guys doing here today? Of course, this is Asseylum Justin Villamor. Back at my studio here at Toronto. But, of course, yes, oh yes, for the past few weeks, obviously that I've been putting out the commentary in the little studio in that I set it up in Ottawa. But of course here my friends is that yes, basically we're gonna go on and well go to the main part here. Tonight, well obviously is that yes, we're gonna still go on and talk about the Public Order Emergency Commission. There's some things us because obviously that well it dragged for more for the 7 weeks. And the thing here is that yes, basically I wanna go through all of it and just like talk about things here that you probably did see as you might not paying attention much to the inquiry at all. But of course, here I am today filling you with more information to share more info on what did actually happen at the Public Order Emergency Commission. And of course, this is the Salem Justin Villamor show. You're currently watching it, well, as of right now. Oh, boys here, my friends. Yep. Let's get straight to the opening monologue. Alrighty. So, of course, here is that yes, there's a lot of things to be even consider why here, just like to even like go on here with the CCS Act. But of course, just like I mentioned previously, was up to the Section 2 of the CCS Act. It includes the espionage, sabotage, the list goes, and of course, neither of those met those criteria. But of course, nonetheless, Justin Trudeau decided to invoke the Emergency Act that never used before EA. Why? Because obviously the fact that premature being deeply embarrassed. But of course, here is that the other factor to be even considered here. Well, oh boy. So this is about McKinney and well Matthew Fleury. So of course, basically when Brendan Miller came up to cross-examine these two, oh well, they're pretty much sweating. But of course, aside from that, remember how Catherine McKinney coaches her, well, coaches Fleury how to obstruct justice in real time. She was like, "What's bad in French? What's bad in French? What's bad in French?" But of course, oh boy, then basically that, well, it didn't even mention here on the scripture, but of course, when Brendan Miller asked Flurry, okay, is microaggression, yes, is microaggression, is your understanding of that it means verbal and environmental slights. And then McKinney was like, who's French? And then Floride did it. He was like, je suis francophone. Donc, si vous voulez un ton spécifique sur le mot, le mot, il va falloir que vous me le demandiez en français parce que me demande une définition plus malheureuse, mais je suis pas. Assez, assez ma connaissance de la terminologie en anglais est plus trop inapproprié, monsieur le commissionnaire. Well, I would say here, once again, I don't just keep repeating myself here, but excuse my poor French here. Yep, I always try my best to read it, but of course, just like I said, I'm not good at French. Excuse my poor French here. And then Brendan Miller replied, well, je m'appelle Brendan. And then the room burst in laughter. But of course, Brendan Miller went on and like, one of the words that I put to you, and there's a few, so means verbal and environmental and slides is confusing. What one are you confused about it? And then Flory went on and responded in French. Here's the thing here is that obviously that they're obstructing justice in real time because Brendan can't speak French that much. No. Excuse me. J'explique plusieurs fois que pour moi, le agression, j'ai pas c'est quand la bonne terminologie, mais j'essayais de l'expérimenter, je l'exprime comme chien, que d'après moi, l'élément qui atteint une partie. You know what? Basically, these things, there's no point of trying to go on here because obviously that, well, basically, I keep saying here just to excuse my poor French. But of course, then, and then like Brendan says, can someone get him one of this? It was like, thank you. Could someone give him a pair of this so he can understand what I'm saying in English as well, please? And then McKenny was like, oh, that's mean. Is that possible? Do you need this? Would you like one of this for when I question you in English? Because I'm unfortunately capable of speaking French. And then like, McKinney was like, just tell him you don't need it. Just go tell him you don't need it. Billy So, there you have it there, my friends. But of course, there's other factor to even just like go on here. Now, when you just like even consider it, some of the things here, to be honest. So, let's say what some things go on here. So, yeah, the independent report from the OPP. So, I'm just gonna read some parts here. So, actions have become more disruptive, involving the blocking of intersection in other instances. The behavior demonstrators has become aggressive and agitating that has required the intervention of police to de-escalate tensions. Many within the Patriot movement and its sub sect, the Plaid Army believe their predictions of a segregated society of vaccinated and unvaccinated individuals is coming to fruitions, such as they anticipate the withdrawal of social services, including access to healthcare, and continue to frame the public health-driven response to supposedly so-called pandemic as calculated harm to the. But of course, we can just like, go on here later on with that. But also remember when I showed you the chart of the economy that there is no significant impact on the economy, that they were just lying and lying and lying. Obviously, that's what they did. Unbelievable. So, of course, final conclusion here is that even though the fact that the Public Order Emergency Commission was totally required under the law, but obviously what needs to be happen is accountability. I know that I'm getting black pill here, but of course, obviously, this is a very important thing for Canadians to see and for the whole world to see. Because like obviously that Trudeau invoked the Emergency Act, even though it didn't meet the Section 2 of the CCS Act. Simple as that. So of course, you can just like see there that Trudeau didn't pay attention to it at all. It was just like yeah, 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 yeah. And then there, I bet you can just say unbelievable. Totally ridiculous. Oh brother. But of course, that's it for my opening monologue here. Already here. So ideologically motivated violent extremism assess a potential threat under the CSIS Act, Section 2. So, well, willing, willingness to kill, inspire others to kill, serious violence, including sabotage, attempting to affect societal change, ideological influence. And then, yeah, strength of causal relationship between motivation and ideology and violence. And the list goes on here. And of course, considerations threat posed by Canadians in Canada or abroad, peripheral supporters, active supporters, organizers, proselytizers, pro- uh, proselytizers, violent ideologues, threat posed by foreign nationals in Canada, coverage by partners, and of course considerations, creative threat, risk of action, inaction, resources and authorities engagement with domestic allied partners, course of action, analysis, investigation, disruption, advice, post-mortem, assess action taken, re-evaluate. And of course, the purpose of this project is to visually articulate the steps undertaken by CSIS to ascertain whether an identified IMVE threat actor represents a Session 2C threat and to decide on what actions, if any, should be taken. CSIS developed three detailed placement scenarios, 1, 2, and 3, to represent the three types of potential 2C threats. This placement represents a condensed version of all three scenarios. Scenario number 1, pre-violent incident, loss of life, possible ceases, possible to see nexus. Scenario number 2, post-violent incident, loss of life, disrupted plot, possible to see nexus. Scenario number 3, turns to Canada's 10 critical infrastructure sectors. Loss of life does not mean to be an objective, but of course, trust the security of Canada means, of course, I just like pointed out. Espionage or sabotage that is against Canada or is detrimental to the interests of Canada or activities directed toward or in support of such espionage or sabotage. Foreign influence activities within or relating to Canada that are detrimental to the interests of Canada and are clandestine or deceptive or involve a threat to any person. Activities within or relating to Canada directed toward or in support of the threat or use of acts of serious violence against persons or property for the purpose of achieving a political, religious, or ideological objective within Canada or foreign state. And activities directed towards undermining by covert and lawful acts or directed toward or intent ultimately to lead to the destruction or overthrow by violence of the constitutionally established system of government in Canada. Serious violence for the purpose of this placement, serious violence in relation to the 10 government of Canada critical infrastructure sectors is defined as a threat actor who willfully destroys or damage property. Such action could endanger a person's life. The term ideological is not statutorily defined and has received little judicial consideration in either Canada or foreign courts. To date, there has now been judicial consideration of the meaning of the phrase ideological purpose, objective, or cause. Ideology can also be seen as a belief structure that people use as a lens through which they perceive the world, the individual, process and systematizes all the information of social and other relevance, including conspiracy theories, to orient themselves in the societal realm. To reduce its complexity, the term is both broad and neutral. There is no requirement that the ideas or beliefs be inherently violent and of themselves. Threat actors include but not are limited to individuals, cells, groups, platform networks, movement, and conspiracy theories. Threat to Canada's critical infrastructure, energy, and utilities, finance, food, transportation, government, health, water safety, manufacturing, information and communication technology. And of course, uh, xenophobic violence, radically motivated violence, ethno-nationalist violence, anti-authority violence, anti-government slash law enforcement violence, anarchist violence, gender-driven violence, violent misogyny, including incel, anti-LGBT2 plus violence, under-grievance driven and or ideologically motivated violence. But of course, the thing here, my friends, with that is that oh yes, basically is that yep, when you see that type of things, have you seen anything type of things here? Does words is violence now? Think so. According to this type of idiots, you know what I'm talking about. So of course, I'm just gonna go on here and read the this very important exchange between Eva Chipiok and Justin Trudeau. Then. So, of course, Trudeau just went on and, yep, lie and lie and lie. So, let me just try to go on here. So, of course, Ebert Lapik provided this one, and then of course she said, like, quote unquote, the truckers and the Canadians who line the roads, overpasses, and highways restored the hope that I had almost lost. These patriotic Canadians told me that I am not alone, that I am mother. I will never forget the hope and pride I felt watching these amazing truckers driving along Canadian highways, crowded with patriotic flag of Canadian flying patriotic Canadians flying their flags and holding their signs of support. I will never forget the tears I shed as I returned that almost lost hope, that love for my home and native land, that love for my fellow Canadians as well. And then says here, for months the leader of our country public shamed people like me and my husband. Our own family members turned on us, blamed us, and some even told us we don't deserve health care. One of one of my most emotional moments was dancing on Guido Street beside a local man. He had tears streaming down his face. All he wanted was a hug. It was very overpowering for him. I met a girl 22 years old who just hopped in her car from Winnipeg and kept driving. She stayed the entire time, met people who were likely family to me, people who gave up everything to come to Ottawa for justice and an explanation. I am not asking for help. I am begging you to please listen, hear my heart, feel my pain, and help work towards the true north and strong, the true north, strong and free that we are promised. My husband, an army veteran, who had now who now has PTSD and not from anything he has seen or done in the forces, but from what our own government has done. Our government destroyed my life. I want I, a once optimistic, full of life person, find myself struggling to stay above water now. I struggle to find joy in anything, and daily fear a new announcement being made that will further punish us. I have written the same email to every member of parliament daily and been ignored by a large collection of the people meant to be our leaders, meant to be listening to us. End quote. And then Eva went on, Mr. Prime Minister, you have now heard the statements from some of the many concerned Canadians who felt compelled to support the protesters. Do you now understand the reason so many Canadians came to Ottawa with such resolve in the midst of a harsh, cold Canadian winter because of the harms caused by your government, COVID mandates, and they wanted to be heard? And of course, this freaking douchebag went on and said, "Oh, are you moved?" And I was moved as I heard this testimonies, as I saw the depth of hurt and anxiety with the present and the future expressed by so many people. The COVID pandemic was unbelievably difficult on all Canadians, and my job throughout this so-called pandemic was to keep Canadians safe. And the way that I chose to do that was to lean on public health officials, lean on so-called experts and so-called science on the best way to keep Canadians safe. And because Canadians got vaccinated to over 80%, they got vaccinated to over 80%, and we had fewer deaths included in the places that we reached that. And every heartbreaking story I hear of a family who suddenly beside the bed of a loved one dying because they had believed that the vaccine was dangerous than the disease. I think personally because I wish I could have done more. Fuck you, Trudeau. Fuck yeah. You son of a bitch. How dare you that you had the big fucking audacity to say those freaking words? How dare you? How dare you, you son of a bitch? How dare you? How dare you, Justin Trudeau? How dare you? Because it's all started because of you, you freaking douchebag. You you fuck around with Canadians, you cross the line, and then you find out you made the Canadians so angry. You fuck around with them and you find out. And now you're totally angry at those Canadians because you fuck around with them. The more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out, you son of a bitch. You dipshit motherfucker. Simple as that, Trudeau. It is very simple as that. You choose to mess around with Canadians. Now you find out. And you were totally pissed. You have no right to be angry at all because you fuck around with these people. To be honest, you chose to celebrate people just based on their medical status. And of course, even when and I don't mean to convince people to cut you off to get vaccinated, but of course, Eva went on and said, "Okay, thank you. A number of people have testified in this inquiry, referencing your widely published comments and calling the unvaccinated racist and misogynist, and we have heard testimony in this inquiry about how some of your officials wanted to label protesters as terrorists. Would you agree with me that one of the most important roles of a prime minister is to unite Canadians and not divide them by engaging in name calling?" And then Trudeau went on, "I did not call people who were unvaccinated this. I heard that there is a difference between people who are hesitant to get vaccinated for any range of reasons and people who deliberately spread misinformation that puts at risk the life and health of their fellow Canadians. Fuck you, you dipshit." Yeah, right, Trudeau. Yeah, right. They call unvaluable names. Yeah, right. You freaking idiot. Yeah, right. You didn't call anyone names. Oh, didn't call anyone names. Interesting. Um, how about let me just play a video here that would prove otherwise. I have the video evidence here of him calling unvaccinated people names, engaging in name calling. What a freaking liar. And of course, well, obviously the fact here that Trudeau is the blackface Hitler, the freaking blood teacher, that he did engage in name calling. You hypocrite. You hypocrite, you motherfucking shit douchebag. Oh boy. So basically, I had the receipts here. Obviously. Do you think that I go on here without any preparations, without having the proper receipts on my hand? No! I don't usually go on. I don't go on here and just like basically. Yep. What I'm gonna be saying is that yep. Obviously that I don't go to the show, like I don't start the show without having the proper documents on my hands. Same as that. So in any event, let me just show you this video that will prove otherwise. Do we tolerate these people? Does it sound like? Oh, I see. Adolf Hitler. He totally sounds like Adolf Hitler. They're taking up space, and as a leader, as a country, do we make a choice? Like, do we tolerate these people? Aha. Yeah, right. But of course, then. And of course, Ava Chipiok just went on and hit the nail there because she said the thing that I'm just wanting to hear. Oh boy. She was like, my last question, Mr. Prime Minister. When did you and your government start to become so afraid of your own citizen? And then Ryan Cover, the counsel for the government of Canada, trying to intervene, saying, that's a very unfair question. No, it's not. Sorry that it hurts your fucking feelings, you douchebag. Sorry, it hurts your feelings. But Fox doesn't care about your feelings at all, bro. And of course, do you think I gave a single damn about your feelings? Hell no, of course not. Simple as that. So shut the fuck up. And of course, there you have it there, my friends. So, of course, to just add, quote unquote, is that I'm not and we are not. Yeah, right. You're not afraid, eh? Really? Then why on earth did you invoke the never used before emergency act? That's the question. Why did you do that? When it didn't meet the section of the CCS Act, that proves that you're afraid that the narrative is gonna be blew off. That if these people will blow off the narrative. And that is the very last thing that you want to happen. Simple as that here, for sure. But of course, this is the Hendon report from the OPP. So, for the most of basic stuff here, my friends, is that the one boy. You may see from here. Here we go. Let me just show you here. So, of course, I'm gonna wait here some of the things that the OPP um, had their based on their report. So with residential schools, there is no update with the respect to the possibility of a group of indigenous delegates visiting Pope Francis at the Vatican or papal visit to Canada in 2022. One of the calls to action in the 2015 final report of the Truth and DRC called for a papal apology on Canadian soil within 1 year. Assessment: new information coming out through social media pertaining to a nationwide campaign of truckers to stage a work stoppage, highway slowdown, and convoy to Ottawa appears to have benefited from semi-clandestine organizing that have been underway for some time. This supports earlier assessments where it was believed adherents of the patriot movement network variety of means that includes in-person meetings, a ton of speeches, and online contents emanating from leadership figures and adherents alike suggests there is a growing frustration by the overall lack of success in affecting governmental change. While there is no new information within this reporting period relating to the operational status of the Submarine Freedom School, the establishment and planning alone signals the seriousness the level of dedication and resources some adherents of the patriot movement possesses toward creating a sovereign existence. Aside from this, the emerging trend to form larger alliance across in some instances casting aside difference appears to hold a connection to the organizing efforts of MPP Wendy Hillier and pastor from the Church of God Elmer, each of whom possesses considerable influence within the Patriot movement. As a whole, historically, events that have been organized or endorsed by the duo have mobilized large participant numbers in several areas of the province, most notably to Ottawa and on Toronto. All other assessments remain unchanged. Reporting continues to identify public health units, employees with mandated COVID-19 vaccine policies, school boards, and police agencies as vulnerable to protest actions by anti what anti-COVID vaccine and anti-mandate. Eh? What about just call it freedom movement? Freedom protesters, opposition. There are there appears to be a growing movement toward adherent threatening public health officials and law enforcement leaders that may reach a threshold of intimidation and criminal harassment. In broad terms, the patriot movement and subset played army bracket. What vehicles continue to mobilize and react in the following manners? Wow. So you better. Hopefully, you're better than this OPP. Because obviously, threat, threatening a. What do you mean by threatening? You should have a much more specific term that you should have used in this report. OPP. Yep. So, ours. That's just part what it is. But of course, I'm just going to show you some highlights of the day 23 when the RC top three highest ranking. Yep, the three highest ranking RCMP officers testified at the Public Order Emergency Commission.
If I could ask clerk to bring up PD 8042. And there should be by
I'm imagining that I'm stuck. I don't know if it's reference, but it's somebody talking. Uh, if, uh, there's, uh, but she's asking if she decides us taking
Then through, we have to agree.
Oh boy. So, so, well, obviously, time for the ending monologue. Alright. So, of course, here, my friends, is that yes, basically, even though that there's still a lot of more, I mean, there's a whole lot of more things that I'm gonna be talking about it was about the public order emergency commission. But of course, the thing here is that yes, basically is that how when the typical of the things here, just story about the key factor that yes, just like being black on black hill because you know what here, just to be completely honest with you, is that there's still no accountability that taking place here. But not completely black pill, but the thing here, I am still have, yeah, I still have hope that there will be accountability that will be coming soon enough, and of course, obviously that evil won't prevail, and of course that we know that it doesn't last long that much, and they will also get before they ultimately get destroyed. But of course, aside from that, is that yes, basically, is that Trudeau just showing how a big hypocrite he is. Because obviously, the fact that the Freedom Convoy protest is all started when Trudeau forced the truckers to get the poison with the cross border mandate. But of course, you can just see that's the triggered like there's that type of reason why on earth the freedom convoy in the truckers, the protesters in the truckers went to the Parliament Hill and went to Ottawa. That's the reason. But of course, what they should have did, he invoked the Emergency Act instead of talking to them. Simple as that. And of course, just final conclusion here on my ending monologue. Boys. Well, basically, is that yes, from the things that you have seen here, that there's a big double standard here because obviously that yes, from what occurred 2 years ago with the CN rail when these eco terrorists blocked the railway, that was totally fine. They should have negotiated with those people. They came under the table, but of course, with the trucker, man, the truckers came to Ottawa and like constantly honk. Oh boys, he didn't like it, but of course, obviously that oh yes, based on the things that you have seen from here, is that that dude just can't even be trustworthy at all. Because the also thing here is that he didn't even negotiate with the truckers, but he negotiated with the eco terrorists. Just shows how blatant that dude is. But of course, you see that video evidence because like he was saying, I didn't call and vaccinate people names, but you did, obviously. But of course, that's it for my ending monologue here. So, of course, keep up the good work here. Keep fighting for what's right. And of course, don't drink the Korea, please. Don't. And of course, hopefully, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Oh, wait. Instead of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the show will be around maybe 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'll just have to say, but of course, if the show doesn't go tomorrow, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. And of course, here, my friends, have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your evening here. And of course, stay sane. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, please don't. White on the land here, my friends. Keep fighting for freedom. Bye bye.